mark out a safe little space in your guys' temple.
Hmm. I find it hard to imagine that bugbears of all things were responsible for this.
They most definitely weren't.
Then who?
Does the name the Master ring any bells to you?
Means nothing to me, but perhaps the lieutenant will know more. And at this, he leads you back to the guardhouse and leads you inside, and he disappears into the lieutenant's office for a moment before calling all of you in. The lieutenant, Felishar Iverson, once again sitting at his desk, feet propped up, sort of leaned back. Huh. So you all have returned. Excellent. Give me a full report.
Well, we did as you asked. We delved into the tomb, cleared it out. There were bugbears and undead. We found
Bugbears.
what we believe is the entrance to where your thief came from.
Really?
They had dug a tunnel into the crypt.
I see. And you've dealt with those interlopers.
Yes. They have been cleared out, as well as the undead. Does the name the Master ring any bells to you?
At this, he looks down for a moment. And you see the first break in the lieutenant's supreme confidence. As he seems to ponder your words, Dorian, for a moment. The Master.
Bless you, Lear.
We believe he's the culprit that had stolen your relic.
See.
Strong
certainly is-
indication that he's a necromancer of some sort.
This certainly is news. I personally have not heard much of this figure, but there have been whispers and rumors from the Empire about such a abomination.
Here to share.
Just that he's a villain, of course, planning something. There have been people, cultists, and others who have claimed allegiance to this master, only referring to him as such. We've attempted to gather information from these individuals, but they've proven less than helpful, even after much torture and interrogation. Seems whoever this is has power beyond the mortal plane, perhaps. Someone that would keep all under him from speaking of him.
And if you were to guess, what do you think a necromancer would be capable of with the blood of your god? Or why he would want it?
I must admit, I know little of our god's ancient artifacts. However, whatever it is, it's certainly concerning. Perhaps the recovery of this is more important than what I first thought. Although, I did assume that whoever would steal such a thing must have some use for it. Well, but to business. You've done what I've asked of you, and for that, I will keep to my word, and you shall be rewarded. The guard captain, standing in the back of the room, looks towards the despot. as he calls to him and says, "Captain Fairmore, if you would." And the captain walks over to a safe kept back behind the desk, the despot. He pulls out a large bag of what appears to be coin. And he walks over to you, Doran, standing at the front, and hands it to you. The heaviness of the pouch certainly does not lose its impact on you. And then the guard captain walks back to the back of the room. 500 gold pieces for each of you.
Each.
Well, for all of you. And
Confirmation for each or
no.
He
100 each.
your DM misspoke there. That would have been a game changer right there.
yes, it would have.
We each got 500 gold.
Yes.
The despot explains to you, this reward, of course, includes the bounty we're giving up on your companion's head.
Just looking over at Lear, he's got a fucking napkin to his face.
This is the crypt dust. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Allergies, of course.
Companion. Oh, you mean that elf?
Yes. Nasani. He convinced us to give him up in exchange for the rest of the reward that you all would have received had you been successful in your mission.
Wow.
And so we let him go. Don't want someone like that around anyway. I cannot say what some of those below me would do if they found him. So he's gone. At least he should be. And do not worry. Anything you found while in those crypts, feel free to keep. As I'm sure there were things of value you might have found. But I have no use for those. Additionally, you may trade and rest in Oralbar as you please, without interruption or molestation from the guard and the Empire. Finally, should you have any other questions, I did state that I would provide any information that I could to all of you.
As we mentioned before,
Pass out. I think I'm pretty low in health.
you shouldn't be that low.
It's like 7.
You're fine.
Yeah, we didn't actually get a rest, so
You're
just leveled up.
fine, you babies.
I'm fine. I'm just
Babies.
pleading Spencer's case.
As we mentioned before, our reason for coming here is another job we're on. Investigating creatures with a strange black ooze coming off of them.
Yes.
Aberrations, if you would.
And funny that you would say so, because as it were, these things did not start appearing around here until after the blood of Bane was stolen from the crypts. So perhaps your inclination in believing that the artifact was used for such may not be too far out of the question. Although I cannot say for certain. Of course, we've had larger problems here in Oralbar. Take it you've seen the large craters surrounding the town.
Yes.
Well,
We were actually on our way to investigate that before being conscripted.
really. Well, those pesky giants of the Grey Peak Mountains are to blame for those. They seem to chuck anything they can throw towards our town, towards travelers. Quite violent, those beasts.
Things I want to ask, but things I don't think my character would actually ask. I
Keep your mouth shut.
know. It's hard.
I do have a few questions. Have
Well,
you made contact with the Druidic Circle up near Shining Falls?
mm, we've seen their scouts towards the north of Oralbar, but they stay far away from us, and it's good that they do. We would not have dealings with them. In fact, we believe that they may have something to do with the current stone giant activities.
Well, I might be able to help if I can make contact with him, maybe talk to him. I've not known too much of this group. We usually stay to our own circle. But might be able to find some info what we're looking for. And then, do you know anything
Perhaps.
of Unicorn Pass, too?
Only that it's a death trap.
Good to know.
In fact, I would assume that those bugbears that you discovered in the crypts
Mm-hmm.
probably came from that area. That area is known for its goblinoid population.
I see.
Many do not go that way any longer. Partially due to the stone giants, partially due to the druidic circle there, and probably most importantly due to the goblinoid attacks that often happen. Travelers that seek to take the shortcut to the north.
Yeah.
There's not much worse a fate than being captured and made into a slave by a goblin tribe.
I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. Truthful. And then, has any of your scouts or hunting parties seen any deranged, bloodthirsty animals on the outskirts or
Yes, there
anywhere
have been
localized?
a few reports. Of course, most of the citizens here remain near the city, only going out to farm the fields. But I have heard word from my men walking the roads that there have been strange, rabid beasts that seem to kill with no remorse without stopping.
It's quite disturbing news.
As far as anything getting near this town, however, no, of course not. My men are too well trained to allow something like that to happen.
Kind of take a few steps back and ponder this information.
Well, anyone else have anything they'd like to ask? As you can see, I'm very busy and I'd like to get back to my duties.
Where can we get a beer that's not the person that sold us out in 2 seconds?
Oh. Rainer. Yes. Well,
Ah ha ha ha.
I have stationed a replacement at the Unblinking Eye that you may patronize. Otherwise, that's the only place to obtain alcohol in Oral Bar. It is funny you thought he'd sold you out, though. He much had nothing to do with it, I would imagine.
He
As I
said
said
we'd be
before,
safe there, and then I was in
the
a cave
Zentarum
for
have
two
eyes and
days.
ears everywhere, yes. You went
Well,
into the Unblinking Eye and did not leave. Where else would you have been?
I do remember asking after before we left to go to the tomb, if you guys wouldn't hurt him, but I guess you guys did.
Oh, well, he's still alive, if that's what you'd like to know. We spared his life. But he will be serving Bane in a more direct capacity for the foreseeable future.
All right. Well, I don't want to go back in there, so I'm gonna leave now.
Right. We'll take up no more of your time, Lieutenant. As you
Yes,
can
and
see.
if you would, moving forward, should you find the rapscallion who made it off with the blood of Bane, take care of him for me. Bring him, or her, I suppose, to me, dead or alive. And if you recover the artifact, then even better.
Keep that in mind.
Yes, well, enjoy your stay in Oral Bar. I will make sure that Captain Fairman lets all the guard know to leave you be. Well,
How far does that extend?
just don't do anything you'd regret, and you'll be just fine.
by the way, is there a place to spend this gold within town? For, say, adventurers like us.
Well, there are a few trading spots here in Oral Bar, but not much in the way of adventuring gear, I'd say, but can point you to the Imperial Outpost, trading outpost. It's towards the southern end of town. You see, trade in Oral Bar, and as well as all Zentarum settlements, is closely controlled. However, based upon your service to the Empire, you may obtain many things there, many goods. Just let Russell, the owner, know that I sent you.
Give him a nod. Thank you.
Well, if there's nothing else, I'm going to get back to my business, and he kicks his feet back up on the desk and leans back.
I start feeling
And
around at some of the bruises and sore muscles.
I walk out.
Yeah, I just raise an eyebrow and walk out.
Same.
all right, and Captain Fairman is closely behind you, and he shuts the door to the despot's office and leads you back out into Oral Bar. Stay out of trouble. will still be keeping an eye on you as he goes back into the guardhouse.
Say we head toward the inn for the night. It's about evening, you said, right?
Notion?
Yeah, it's about evening. It's dusk.
I'm quite sore and tired. I look for Cliff. Say we get you a drink there, Cliff.
Yes, let's
Shake. Is this real? Am I finally freed?
Cliff,
praise the sun.
So, just to
It's my-
clarify, we all got 125 gold, right?
No, we each got 500.
yeah, we each got
Got
500 gold.
100.
You each got 100
You
gold.
actually, none of you
Split it
got
up equally.
nothing because I didn't give you anything yet.
Well, I still have the 121 golden baubles.
All right, so are you going to the Unblinking
going
Eye?
No,
Yeah,
we're gonna sleep right here on the street. Yes, we're going to the Unblinking Eye.
All right. So you once again approach the old creaky building, standing taller than most in this sad-looking town. As you enter, you see no one inside other than a lone Zentarum guard standing behind the bar.
Do I recognize him?
No, you do not.
He's not one of your friends.
Okay.
He seems to be half asleep, standing at his post, sort of nodding off.
You want a drink, Cliff? Go get one.
Are the stairs anywhere nearby?
Yeah, they're at the left end of the building there. You'd be able to walk up them easily enough.
Right. Nah, I'm not gonna do that.
I go find a table and sit down.
So, I guess
All
Cliff
right,
wants
easy
us
enough.
to go and ask for a drink.
I
You
go
sit
up
down,
to
and
him.
as you put the bag of gold onto the table, it sort of creaks by the sheer weight of it.
I know what I can do. I'll go find a chair nearest to the most left side of the corner of the room where I can case the entire room. People walk in. I'm just going to sit in the chair, and I'm just going to sit there, non-moving, and begin my rest period.
All right, fair enough. All right, and Cliff, are you walking up to the
Yeah, I go up
barkeep?
to him and I'm like looking around, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drinks for myself and whatever anybody else wants.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Whatever. The despot made sure to let me know that if you came in, that it's on the town tonight.
Nice.
And he starts slowly filling up some mugs, and you can tell by looking at him, Cliff, and your great experience with getting drinks at a bar, that he's doing so very poorly. The beer that he's providing you has way too much head on it, as he's poured it incorrectly.
I don't even care at this point.
All right.
Thirsty. And
And
it's free.
he hands you 5 mugs.
I just start working.
All right. And what is everyone else doing?
I am pulling all this cash out of this bag and making 5 identical stacks.
All right, 1, 2.
2, 3, 4, 5. What the fuck's he doing? Shit. Gotta start over. 1, 2.
All right, and as you all sit here, sort of meandering about, resting, licking your wounds, no other soul enters the tavern.
Excellent.
You seem to have the place to yourselves, except for this weary-looking Zentarum guard who does not appear to be enjoying himself too much.
Fat man, get over here.
assume you're referring to Cliff.
Well, there's only one fat man.
I'm just ignoring him and
Okay.
drinking.
I proceed to put his stack away. Druid. Okay, I proceed to put his stack away too. Wizard.
He's muted. He says he goes over.
I walked over.
Okay, so Lear does actually walk up to you and take his share.
I push his stack over.
Pot.
Push
After I
it.
figure out what's going on, I get up to.
Push a stack to the fat man. Looking over and seeing that the rogue is unmoving in a chair,
Like, that even doesn't even look like I'm breathing.
I take his stack, I put it back in the bag, tie it up, and I throw it at him. See if he reacts.
It hits me in the face and falls in my lap. I don't move.
It deals 1 point of bludgeoning damage to your face.
Interesting. So now you all have 100 gold.
There we go.
Excellent. So, the rewards from the quest completed, having been divvied out. What would everyone like to do? Would anyone like to do anything before turning in?
I pull out my book I purchased in the previous town, and I do a little bit of reading.
Right. Which one? You bought 2.
I will start with the drow one, and then being utterly disgusted with that one, I will move on to the other one.
Okay. You merely get far enough to recognize, at least in a very soft way, a goddess that you believe you've heard stories of, but never by name. And you are very interested in what it's saying. It sounds... You're almost in disbelief that someone like this could possibly be a drow goddess. It's different than everything you've ever seen or heard about any of the gods and goddesses of the drow pantheon. And the name Alestre sort of finds itself in your mind, and you'll have a hard time forgetting it. Anyone else got anything they'd like to do?
I would just like to stare at Cliff and make sure he's okay. And drink my ale.
Alright, you look at him, and he appears very not okay.
I figured I'll just contemplate what to do.
You know what to do.
Yeah, over the past few weeks, you've seen Cliff drink, but not like this.
Yeah.
He's drinking... He's drinking with a mission in mind.
Yeah.
He's a man on a mission.
To forget.
Drown the memories.
Do you approach him?
No. I'll just keep an eye on him.
Alright. Well, you've noticed at this point that he's downed enough beer to where the Zentarum guard is getting much better at pouring.
Nice.
Into the
How
mugs
many
now.
mugs?
Once he
He's gotten
passes
much
out,
better.
I'll make sure he gets to a room.
How many mugs in is
Alright.
he?
I'll just let him pass out.
How much are you gonna drink?
Well,
Cliff?
I don't know. It's free, so
Yeah.
until I pass out, probably.
Okay.
I'll carry him up to my
Does he
room.
roll a Constitution save to figure out how many?
Yeah, you can do that. Why don't you roll Why don't you roll a con save to see how many beers you can consume before you black out?
In your current state of mind.
Keeps wanting to pull up the books instead of my character. Hold
Buy the books.
on. 22.
Oh wow,
Holy
a 22. So I'll say you make it through 11 tall mugs of beer before you finally succumb to yourself and black out.
With that, I'll carry him or drag him up the room if I got to.
All right. He's you were able to get him cognizant enough to at least slightly assist you by walking slowly up to a room.
He slammed
good
those
enough.
down pretty freaking quick then if everyone else is still downstairs.
Oh yeah, he drank 11 mugs of beer in about an hour or so.
Hell yeah.
Make sure you're safe and stick with him up in the room.
All right, Novus, anything you're doing?
I'm just like sitting down, not doing much.
All right, well,
Boring.
everyone turns in and takes a long rest. And so you may reflect that on your character sheets. And everyone wakes up in the morning of the next day. Nothing seemingly going on. No sounds to be had. The sun peeking slightly through some of the boarded windows of the inn. But other than that, no activity. No birds singing. Nothing.
Well, I'm up fairly early. So
Yeah, everyone's up fairly early as they.
well, it only takes me 4 hours. So
Yeah, and it's dawn because everybody went to bed pretty early. We're all
how
exhausted.
early is the guard at the counter?
So the guard changed. They changed shifts sometime late at night, and so there's a different guard there now.
I would have seen it when you walked in.
Yeah,
So
about 2 in the morning.
about 2 in the morning. Still not a guard I recognize.
No.
Okay. We got back and when?
It was dusk. You got back to the inn probably around 8 p.m. You all sort of
And
hung out for
Cliff drank for an
a
hour.
couple hours,
Then
hour
Cliff
or
and
two.
Lear went to bed. And there's a curfew in the city, right?
Yes.
Okay. Seeing as how there's almost no one in any of the rooms, I start after my 4-hour rest period. Can I start going through the rooms that are not currently occupied by my party and seeing if I can find any of the guards possibly watching the building?
Yeah, you're gonna kind of sleuth around.
Yeah.
Okay, make me a stealth check just to see how stealthy you're being through all of this. 21, okay. 21. Great.
21.
All right, and so as you go up the stairs, you're as undetectable as a shadow. And make an investigation check. You're sort of checking through rooms and looking out windows and okay, so you don't find anything or anyone of importance. No persons, no really anything of importance in the rooms. But as you look out a window facing towards the front of the building, you do see a couple of Zentarum guard sort of patrolling around the front
Do
of the
they seem
unblinking
like they're
eye.
do they seem like they're taking any sort of special attention towards the building? Or are they just
You
kind of
see
or does it seem like they're relying on the guy inside the building?
You see
Maybe
them
most of the-
facing. You see them looking towards the unblinking eye more often than the other buildings around. It seems these two guards, sort of on a. If you sit there and look for a while, you're able to tell they have a pattern. They're sort of just moving around the unblinking eye in a circle. So every 20 minutes or so, you see them back at the front.
Okay. And I will just go to a room near where the rest of my party is and just sit in there until they all wake up.
Great. And so everyone wakes up.
When
At
when
the
I wake up, I cast mage armor on myself.
Too early.
No, not too early.
Never too early to cast mage armor.
That's true.
Ah.
You never know. At least you
Alright.
didn't cast it the night before.
Yeah.
But
As I go to sleep, I cast mage armor upon myself.
Why would I cast it the night before? It would have been out when I woke up.
I know, we've established your wizard's pretty stupid.
I mean, if you thought you might have been assassinated in your sleep, it gives you AC while you're currently asleep.
Yeah. But I know
But-
that wasn't going to happen, so I didn't do it.
Alright.
Now it's gonna happen.
But I'm already awake. Who would
This
assassinate me?
paranoia is
Great idea.
sinking in.
But anyway.
Yeah.
What's everyone doing as they wake up to this quiet?
When I hear doors
Unassuming
start
morning.
opening up, I'm going to come out and try and flag down whoever comes out of the rooms first.
All right. So Lear walks out a room towards the middle of the hall, and Cliff is not behind him.
Alright, well, I'm going to definitely...
Lear does not
What the
appreciate.
Jesus!
That was
Lear lets out a
Lear
horrifying.
makes this ungodly noise.
his jaw
Taking his attention.
unhinges and an unearthly noise that you have never heard comes out of it.
Sorry, I'm used to talking in Druidic. That was just Druidic.
Druidic? Sounds like
That was
primordial.
So,
My bad.
But,
I should do. Good to see you awake.
was Cliff in the room with you?
I look back.
He is, and he's kind of hungover.
He's feeling probably like himself. He'll be okay.
Cliff, as you hear them talking, you kind of roll over, and you feel a pounding headache. But otherwise, this isn't something that you haven't dealt with before. You'll be alright. You think to
Okay.
yourself.
Alright, well, kind of need to give everyone a heads up when everyone's awake.
Alright, as everyone sort of gathers in the upstairs hall, you can say something to them before anyone heads down.
This building was being heavily surveyed last night. I don't know if it was the norm, but they were walking around the building every 20 minutes or so.
And you're surprised?
That was just a heads up.
The captain did say we were still going to be watched.
Yes, but
Quite openly watched, seems.
yes. Or they were a diversion from those who would actually intervene should we try to flee.
why
Are we
would
trying
we
to flee?
after they gave us 500 gold and like gave us free drinks last night? Why would we?
Because quite frankly, I still don't trust these fuckers.
Well, I don't trust them either, but I don't think that they were going to kill us in our sleep.
It's simple business. They needed a job done. We did it. We have proven useful to them. So, it doesn't do the Zimterum any favors, especially the lieutenant, to have a reputation of killing people who do a job for him.
You honestly think you would worry about something like that?
I've worked for far dangerous people. I am not afraid of these Zimterum.
Well, and funnily enough, Doran thinks back for a moment, and he thinks, there was a certain someone trying to kill him not too long ago.
Yeah. In this party, no less.
And unfortunately, none of you smell anything pleasant being cooked downstairs for breakfast. Seems
Pass.
the usefulness of the guards downstairs ends at their inability to pour beer correctly.
Hey, he was
Pass out
doing his best, okay? He got better at it.
This
pass
is a
out a
new
good
guard. This is
berry
a new guard.
to each of you.
A berry.
Take this. It'll fill
Berry
your
of
belly.
goodness.
Nom nom nom.
Yes.
Good berry.
I will
eat
hang.
the
I
good
will
berry.
take the good berry and I will put it in one of my pouches.
I will eat the good berry to
Not
satisfy
hungry.
my hunger.
Rashadir.
All right, Cliff, do you eat a good berry?
Yeah.
All right.
It'll
When
make
you
me
eat the
feel
good,
better.
when you eat the good berry, you do feel your headache subside quite significantly.
Heck yeah.
I've already shown you all more than I've shown most, but I do not require food if that's what you're asking.
No, you don't, but it could come in handy.
Hence why
They
I
have
put it
their
in my
uses.
bag.
Interesting.
Let's give you a smile. It's all part of the balance. Now,
As you all
onward.
make your way downstairs, you once again see a different but still seemingly overworked and tired guard behind the bar. He does not acknowledge your presence as you each walk down the stairs.
See you later.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. And so, as you enter the tavern proper, you now have a few decisions to make. What are you all going to do next?
I'm gonna find another table and sit down. Same one from last night.
The door
Right.
stays inside.
And when I go over to my nice secluded little corner, I start rifling through my belongings and I pull out. Let's see, what are your guys'? Give me a sound off on those passive perceptions here.
16.
16,
14, I believe.
14,
Could be 11.
14.
14. What about Rashner? What's your passive
13.
perception? 13. I would say, because I'm not really trying to hide it, Lear definitely can see what it is. I'd say the rest of you kind of get an eye. You get the size. Like, Lear, you see that I pull out a broken sword and begin to clean it. You guys just see like a medium, like some kind of metal object. I pull out and start cleaning.
I check in and see if it's my sword.
You feel on
'Cause
your
I have like the rusty sword or whatever.
It is not your sword.
I should probably get this thing sharpened or something.
Maybe a new blade entirely.
With really knowing nothing about what you're doing, I just leave it as
You do
probably just a.
you do find it strange, Lear, because my actual sword is still strapped onto my back, and I am not cleaning that.
Yeah. As someone that's not militaristic and not too nosy,
It doesn't
leave it
use
be.
metal equipment.
Yeah, I'll just leave it be. As I don't know anything about that anyway. I'll sit down next to you.
So Doran, are we planning on moving out today?
I don't know. Oh, are we?
We still have a job to do. As a whole, we still haven't accomplished really anything we've set out to. more sidetracked than anything.
We found a useful clue, at least.
At the least. But
Well, question is, do we go report to Joffrey what we found so far? Investigate these giants, the Druidic Circle.
I can handle the messaging to Geoffrey at least. I guess
I said we could just send him a
small
letter. I was
creature.
planning on sending one to my wife.
I can send a bird also, some type of flying creature, to deliver a message to him.
At the mention of Cliff's wife, I stopped like midway through cleaning. Eyes flick up to him. Are you sure you're cut out for this?
Oh, I feel right as rain.
You were having a mental breakdown last night.
It was my first mission. I'm sure you did yours at 3 years old, but at 40, that was pretty tough.
That's why I'm asking. Are you sure about this?
I mean, no, but the gold is good, and I've got debts to pay.
I don't care your reasons for it. But when we're out there, you need to be focused. Because if we're going to live, we're going to have to count on each other.
I think I carried my weight in there. Do any of you disagree?
Nope, not at all.
This was fine.
Well, if you don't have a time, I'll be back by lunch, and I just head out.
We need to go to the forest or find a bird of some sort. I can have a message delivered to Joffrey to report on.
Can't
what
you
we
just
found.
summon one with your magic druid?
I'm not quite skilled in that department quite yet.
I can summon one.
It's not the same. It cannot be from the Fae. I assume, with your skill.
I mean, wouldn't that just be the wizard's familiar?
Yes, but it's a familiar summon from the Fae.
Why don't we just have him send the message if he can summon a familiar?
Can it deliver a message of words?
If we write it on a letter, I'm sure we could.
Either way.
Jeez, that's a lot of freaking text.
What is this creature that you summon as your familiar? Because I don't think we've seen him summon it yet.
Just a question above table. Does Find Familiar have a range that the familiar can go?
Pretty sure it
Well,
does.
So
Yeah, it does.
I don't believe it has a range.
It has a range / area of 10 foot.
Oh, let's see. It's
That's not what I mean. I mean,
basically,
It has to be within a certain distance to be able to see through its eyes or communicate telepathically.
Yeah, but
yeah.
can the
While
familiar-
the familiar is within 100 feet, you can communicate
Okay.
with telepathic.
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm just
Um,
asking, can the familiar just go as far away from its masters at once? That's what I'm asking.
And do the action that you're requiring it to. Which is, I guess, deliver a letter. But
I don't know. I've never tried.
No, I'm
I
asking.
mean, above table-
I'm asking above table
And then-
the ruling
and then-
of that spell.
Yeah.
How does that? Does the spell have a limited distance the familiar can travel away from the caster?
It does not specify.
Okay.
So
the animal
I
message
assume,
thing,
So then
I
it
can
is
do.
up to the DM to say.
yeah. So I'm going to say that if you tell it, while it's still within 100 feet of you, to do something, and it has the capability to do that thing, then yeah, it doesn't matter how far away it goes. That doesn't mean that it's not going to potentially perish on the way to whatever it is that it's doing. But if it's something that's flying, then it can probably fly to Loudwater. And
I can make it fade.
For animal, no, it's always Fae. Well, it's something from the Fae.
I'd
Well, I
say
can.
Fae
I
Fiend
can
Celestial.
choose between celestial or fiend.
But it says on Animal Messenger, a flying creature can fly 50 miles in 24 hours.
Yes. Yeah.
I can summon a bird and we can attach a letter to it.
I think you're stepping on the druid's toes here, and he really wants to use this animal spell.
No, it's fine. I just took this for this specific reason.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You're just stepping all over his toes, wizard, okay?
Well, the other thing to
realize I will not do it then.
Above table, the other thing to consider is that it costs you a lot to summon a familiar, where it probably doesn't cost the druid as
It's a
much.
ritual,
too.
ritual spell.
I
And it mimics my voice exactly. It's like talking into something, recording it, and getting it to the thing.
So it sounds like he really wants to use the spell, so don't be a dickhead.
All right, so Lear and Cliff leave the tavern. Lear goes to find a woodland bird of some sort. Cliff, what are you doing?
I was gonna find a blacksmith and see if they can cheaply repair my sword.
I can do that with mending.
You're already gone. He's already gone.
That's not how that works, I don't think, because that's taking pieces of metal and putting them back together. We don't have the rest of the oxidized metal for you to actually do that, and it would be very, very time consuming.
Yeah, there are
take you a while.
There are limits to the mending cantrip. It came in clutch because it was literally the exact.
Because everything I say is fucking wrong.
No, it's just the instance you used it was literally the exact instance mending was made.
Was made for, yeah. Like we've come across something that's broken and shattered into multiple pieces, you can use the mending cantrip on that. But for things that are rusted or whatnot, mending necessarily won't work on that.
Otherwise, it would be the best cantrip in the game.
Yeah, it would be restoring something back to how it was previously without having all the necessary pieces to it.
Okay. Never mind.
All right, so Cliff's doing that. So Lear, make an investigation check to find bird.
Could I do a perception, or I'm just looking around for one, or I can do investigation. It's fine.
What if he makes a mating call to a crow?
16.
All right, after just a few minutes of looking and going outside the boundaries of Oralbar, you're able to find a tree containing a few birds.
Okay. I'll sit on the ground. I'll start carving into the ground the druidic symbols and such, and ritual cast Animal Messenger.
Oh, all right.
And as it does, the bird within view will come down to me within my little circle.
All right, it flies down to you. Gives you a
And I
strange
will
look.
describe the man, Joffrey. His name is a human man. And did he always have the necklace, like the golden symbol of the Lord's Alliance, dressed in gold and red?
Yep.
That and his little facial features that I've seen on him, and describing the sharpness of his cheeks and other stuff. I will tell him of our time here in Oralbar, how we got caught by the Zantaran and forced to do work for them. They sent us within their Temple of Bane. We cleared out of undead and found someone named, or calling about the Master. He stole the blood of Bane, correct? That guy did. Or we assume.
We don't know who specifically did, but we assume.
Yeah, we assume he's connected to the Black Ichor. We're currently chasing that lead.
All right, with that, the bird tweaks its head at you, kind of hops around for a second, and darts off, flying in the direction of Loudwater.
Okay. And with that is all I will do.
The druid is content.
I'm not gonna head back.
All right. And Cliff, you kind of wander around until you finally do come upon a small store looking front. You can see a hanging sign where you can faintly see the words Shepherd's Essentials, but they've been sort of graded out, and on top of them placed iron letters that spell out Zentarum Trading Post.
So I walk in.
And as you walk in, you see a see. You see a short human man, middle-aged, gray mop of slicked back hair, his eyes darting around at you as you enter. He looks nervous.
I pull out my shitty short sword and ask him if this is worth saving.
First of all, sir, who might you be?
I am Cliff. I helped out what's he called? The despot.
The lieutenant.
The despot. Of course, of course. I've been made aware of you and your companions. And you see a sigh of relief on his face. Well, about your sword, yes, I suppose it could be fixed, but
I
might I
have no
suggest you
emotional attachment to this sword.
perhaps
Is
you
it
might
worth more
just
to buy
purchase a
one or
new
to
one.
save this one? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. I
You
shall
may
take
consider just
one
purchasing
like
another.
this.
And it's a short sword you're looking for?
I believe so. That can be strength or dex, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, depending on what your dexterity is, you might want something with strength. Oh wait, never mind. You
He'd
can
want.
choose, can't you?
He would want a long. You'd want a long sword. Pigeon says into your ear as it flies by.
I do want a long sword, but can you wield it with one hand?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can, yeah.
That is
Great
what
swords are the
D8.
only thing you need two hands for. Great swords and great axes and
If they actually let me try out that long sword.
Oh,
now here's
something
the next
something
question.
longer than a short sword, but perhaps shorter than a great sword, yes?
Yeah, not too small, not too big, just right.
Just right.
Just right, okay.
That's right.
Well, let me see. Let me
That's
see what I
Cliff's
have.
middle name. Just right. Not too
And
small.
he begins
Not too
sort of
big.
looking through you as you take closer look around this building. Seems much of what's in here appears to be um, trade goods as well as uh, armaments that appear very similar to what you've seen on the Zentarum guards wandering around town. And the man eventually um, finds a long sword. He brings it to you and he shows it to you. What about this?
Do that thing that people do in mall ninja shops and act like I know what I'm doing with the sword.
Okay,
See if it feels good.
make a performance check.
You're good at these.
Every time I open this up, it gets off my character. Um, skills. Um, oh.
Skills. Is that okay? There we go.
Ooh, big ol' 5.
So
Oh.
as you're
Is that
sort of
okay?
like
There we go.
Ooh,
looking
big
it
ol'
over,
5.
you actually like
Oh.
prick yourself as along the edge. You didn't realize that both sides were sharp.
Oh yeah,
And
it's very sharp.
oh, are you all
After I
right
play it
there,
off.
Cliff?
Embarrassed, I say I'll take it.
That's Cliff the
Ah,
It's a
Great to
very,
you.
of
it's a
course.
very fine blade.
Well, that will of course be 20 gold pieces.
All right, I give him 20 gold pieces.
Excellent, excellent. Well, anything else that you might be looking for?
Um, no, but you can have this as scrap if you'd like.
Oh, sure. And you'll take the short sword from you.
And I'll play him a little tune on my drums and take a bow and leave.
Hmm.
Do a little dance as you scutter back.
Yeah, I'm feeling chipper.
It's okay. I'm gonna
Well,
stop rolling.
yes. Have a good day, I suppose. All right, you leave. So what's everybody else doing?
Yes, that is the question. What is everyone else doing?
What is Dorian doing? Are you
I'm
just still sitting at the table?
cleaning this blade.
Gotcha. All right. Novus, Rashter, anything in particular you'd like to do?
I don't know. I'm kind of wanting to get rid of this quarterstaff.
Okay.
Because I keep thinking of myself, every time I attack with this thing, it seems like I'm not doing as much damage as I wish. Other than my spells and such. Don't really know why.
You could try out a dagger if you can use one.
I was thinking more of like a crossbow in case I run out of magic and I can still use range.
Valid point, but if something gets within touching distance of you,
I can just Misty Step away.
Not even looking up from the sword. Do you even know how to use a crossbow?
I've shot one before.
Right.
there was no.
I barely know how to
Insight.
use this quarterstaff. I just bonk things with it. You've seen me.
I mean, you seem like you knew what you were doing with it. You just don't have the necessary strength to use it effectively, or as effective as it could.
You do seem pretty weak.
I'll admit, I would lose in an arm wrestling competition against a goblin, but it just seems that
I believe
I
a
should
kobold could beat you in an arm wrestling competition.
perhaps. Yeah, you're probably right. But anyway, I just feel like I should get something different other than this big bulky thing.
Well, I tend to be one to have a multitude of different weapon types on me. So,
Do you have a spare crossbow by chance?
I have a short bow.
Yeah. I'd rather have something that is easy to use.
I thought I did. Pretty sure I had a short bow. I don't know
All
what
right.
happened
So
to
are
it.
you going to go to the store you were told about?
Yes.
All right. You make your way there. You actually begin to enter as Cliff is leaving.
Did I give
Oh,
somebody my short bow? Oh no, there it is. Never mind. I see it.
hey, Cliff.
He's too excited.
Doesn't say anything. It just walks into the bar.
I see him carrying his new shiny sword. It's like, nice.
Nice.
Oh yes, their blades are sharp. I
Careful, their blades are sharp.
wipe my blood
I
off
would
my
hope that they
pants.
would be.
All right.
All right. You enter to see the
Very well. Did
same.
you see the post office on your way here?
I did not. I bet it's somewhere, though.
All right. Well, I'll keep looking and I whistle as I walk.
All right. And you walk in, Novus, and you see the same strange man sort of darting about as you enter with his eyes. Were you with him?
Yes, I'm with the same group.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Russell at your service. What can I do for you?
What can I do for you?
Can I interject here and say that I would have followed in like maybe 30 seconds after Novus did?
Okay. And as you enter, you take a look at the man, kind of leading Novus around, and he says, "Oh my! Are you perhaps together with this gentleman?"
Yes, he's in the same group I'm in.
Oh, thank Bane, thank Bane. Okay. Well, I'm just showing gentlemen around. If you'll wait a moment. So, Novus, what do you say to him?
So basically, I'm just looking for something other than I pull out the quarterstaff and I show him like I can't really use this thing properly, and I was looking to maybe get a cross. If a crossbow or like a dagger, or maybe both, depending on the price.
Or maybe none.
I see. Well, we do certainly have those things. Um, what size of crossbow? What kind of crossbow are you looking for? The simplest to use generally are the lighter crossbows.
That's probably the majority of what I would use. Is a light crossbow?
Well, and of course you'll need ammunition as well, yes?
Yes.
Great, great. Well, he sort of wanders around, leading you about until comes across a section of ranged weaponry, picks up a light crossbow, as well as a pouch of crossbow bolts, and shows it to you. How would something like this do?
I like examine it, look over it, and be like, this would maybe do it.
All right, well, be 30 gold for the crossbow, and another 5 for the bolts. 20 in a pouch.
How much to throw a dagger on top of that?
Oh, another 5 gold pieces.
So 35 gold total for everything?
40.
Oh,
40.
40. I think we have a deal.
Excellent, excellent. And here you go. So you hand him 40 gold pieces. Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, would you want to buy the quarterstaff off of me?
Not much in the business of buying others' stock. Um, that being said, if I can get it from you on the cheap,
For
perhaps.
free?
How does 10 gold?
Absolutely cannot do that, sir.
10 gold for a stick? That's highway robbery right there.
Okay, how about 5 gold?
I could offer you 1 silver piece.
I'm gonna keep it.
Precious
Very well.
family heirloom.
And you, the very scary-looking man, what can I do for you?
I need 2 belts of throwing darts.
Throwing darts. I'll have to check to see if I have such a thing.
And also a couple more bundles of crossbow bolts.
He kind of shuffles around. It takes him a few minutes, but yes, it looks like I have about 10 throwing darts. Be 5 silver pieces for those.
Do you have any belts that I could attempt to put on one around my leg and then one across my torso?
He starts digging around. Yes, starts throwing a couple of things to the side. Yeah, this might work, and he hands you sort of a belt, an ammunition belt. The pouches are larger than what would be required to hold a dart, but they could hold darts.
I think these are typically used for throwing daggers instead of just the darts, yes?
And well, these are typically used for explosive devices.
But you happen to have any said explosive devices?
His eyes sort of dart around. Not for you.
Shame.